I'll count it down. It'll be 3, 2, 1, and then you'll wait for the trumpet. That may be a slight delay, so make sure that you're waiting for that before you start. If it doesn't come, we don't drive, right? All right. During the match, you'll be moving around the field, and if at any time during that match your bot is to break, fall over, for some reason you have to handle it, you'll just go ahead and set your controller down. You'll go around, pick up your bot, bring it back to one of the legal starts, and get it started again. Any of the hubs that you're in contact with during that will be taken out of play, so they'll be moved outside the field. When you're taking your bot, you want to speed up that process, if you know you're in contact with a hub, and when you pick it up, you want to just set that hub outside, that's fine. Just make sure anytime you're handling your bot that your controller's down, and that you move it back to that legal start before moving on. All right, about halfway through the match, we have between 35 seconds remaining and 25 seconds remaining. We have the switch driver command that comes up. So you will be asked to switch drivers. I'll usually yell it out twice, switch drivers, switch drivers. From that time that I say that, because I'll do that with 35 seconds remaining, there'll be 10 seconds before you start. Make sure that you switch drivers by that 25-second remaining time, or there could be some problems. But I think we have all played all these matches, and I don't think we're going to have any problems with that today, right? Oh, see, that was supposed to be a response question, right? So I ask a question, you guys say that we're not going to have problems with that, right? All right, I'll take that, I guess. There was a lot of yeses, nos, but I think we were all meaning the same thing. All right, as we approach the end of the match, I will normally, but not always, give you a heads up that there is 15 seconds remaining, 10 seconds, and then we'll have a countdown from 5. If for some reason I am pulled away from being able to do that, reminder that your time is being displayed on the screens at the fields that you are playing. We are playing on 4 fields, but 2 at the same time, so it'll be over here, over there, and back and forth. The monitors and stuff will switch back and forth with that. Just be sure that when your match is won, make sure that you have a ref there, and that ref is actually signaling you start, because there will be another timer that starts on the other one. Make sure we're paying attention to our fields. At the end of the match, after that buzzer sounds, you will be asked to put your controller down. So controller down, I prefer if you set your controller outside of the field, but if you do set it inside the field, it cannot be near any of the scoring positions, just so that we don't have any, mix up of whether the remote bumped into the hub, which bumped into anything like that. So for scoring during the match, if it is, your goals are going to be to knock off the hubs up here. If they completely make it off, no matter where they go after that, they are counted as removed. For the scoring, if you have one of the regular hubs right here in the scored position, it's counted as scored as long as it's making contact with the floor inside the goal, the perimeter of the goal, which is in blue, and not touching outside of it. There is a maximum of 4 hubs that can be scored in each goal, and if there are more than that in there, it'll be the ones that are worth the highest amount of points. So obviously, if the bonus hubs are included in there, that one's going to count over a normal one if you exceed 4. To count as a high scored, it has to be touching another legally scored piece and not making contact with the floor, the barrier, which is the blue, the floor outside there, or your robot. And that's an important one. If your robot's in contact with a game piece that's in the goal, that game piece will not count. So make sure that you're clear of that. Partial hanging over, things like that, are fine as long as they are meeting those criteria, that they are touching a legally scored piece and they are not touching your robot, they are not making contact with the barrier or the floor of the goal. So there's some really interesting, unique ways to make something high scored and look completely funky. So I won't go over too much what those unique situations are because there's about 1,000 of them. But at any time during the scoring process, if you have questions, please, please, please voice those questions. If those questions aren't voiced by the time we ask you if you agree with your score and we submit it, we can't review any videos or anything like that. So those scores, once they're entered, are pretty much final. The only time that there can be that if you say, I agree with my score, last very second after it gets submitted, you're like, wait, that should have been a 4 or a 5, and the field has not been reset, we can look at that. But once that field is reset, we cannot go back. Any score disputes, I want to hear from students, not mentors or parents. In general, when the team is up on the field, I encourage parents to and coaches to try to keep a nice distance so we don't make our drivers too nervous, and we'll keep with that. So at the very end, you'll want to move towards the parking or the hanging portion, which is done right under here. So to be parked, it has to be making contact inside the parking zone. To be hanging, it has to be hanging from the bar, at least not touching the field. And to be high hanging, it has to be high enough that it's basically so that one of these hubs can pass underneath it completely. At the end of the match, it's basically as it comes to rest, but if we're at the end of the match and you're holding down the button and your robot's slowly climbing, end of the match comes and you're still slowly climbing after you've been asked to put your controller down, how do you guys think that it would score? Low, yeah. So if you're still holding a button and it's still climbing after the end of the match and you're still pushing it, then we'll score it there. And we will discuss that if you guys have any questions about it with you. So if you say, well, yeah, and I'll turn to most of you if there's an issue there and be like, what do you guys think? The thing that I love most about students in this program is you guys are brutally honest to the point where it's not always the best for you, but I really appreciate your honesty for all the scoring issues, and it's usually not that's not the best. Usually, somebody will come up and be like, well, Tommy changed the arm last minute, and it was better. Yeah, so I'm not worried about that kind of stuff. You guys have this. You guys got this. At the end, we'll score that all up. We'll ask if you agree with your score, and then we'll move forward. Anything else we get, Corey? All right. Questions, or you want to do announcements first?
So I'll do another couple announcements, and then we'll move on to questions. So like he just mentioned, I understand that all of the teams went through inspection. We still reserve the right to, at any time, if we see something that might not be correct on the field, we might ask to get re-inspected. Austin will do any re-inspections that take place. This is really meant more for the parents and mentors and coaches that are here. Our inspectors are not infallible. So other than that, queuing today, we're going to be doing field 1 and 2 over here. We're going to be doing field 3 and 4 on the far side over there. So make sure you're paying attention to your match schedule. Know which field you're going to, field 1 and 2, field 3 and 4. On that, please be kind to the facility. Last event, we had some problems with the facilities, particularly the bathrooms. Please be kind to the bathrooms. Use them like a bathroom, not a trash can. The vending machines, they break every single event. And when they break, they will take your money and we will not be able to give you a refund. So pay attention to the signs that are on there. I put a little wait sign. Please read that carefully and follow the instructions on the sign. Don't waste your money. Pizzas should be here around 11:45, noonish, right before lunch. All the pizzas have already been ordered. If you put in what pizza you wanted, it'll come. Otherwise, you'll get a cheese pizza. So everybody be thankful for that. Skills queuing. If you want to do a skills match, just come on up to this table and just leave your robot, bring your robot up here, put it on this table during matches. If matches are not going, skills queuing will be on the regular queuing tables. Just this side. Over here. Field 1 and 2 queuing will be for skills queuing when matches are not going on. I think that's all I had. All right, that's all I had. So we have 10 minutes before matches begin. So do we have any questions for either myself or Austin? Rules-based questions, students, mentors, coaches, anybody? Questions? I understand this is nobody's first tournament, but that's still rare. Nobody? All right, come on up. Oh, sorry, one question. I'll repeat the question and then pass the mic off to our head ref. So the question is, if you have a button that will automatically raise the robot up on a lift, or if you're just holding the button when the buzzer goes off, does it still count if you're holding the button and the robot is rising as the button or as the buzzer goes off?
So the rules say as it comes to rest, but that applies to as it settles, not to as long as you're holding the button down. So if you're continually holding it, that's still a control input, right? So at the end of the match, you'd be asked to set your controller down, and you set your controller down. Does that kind of answer it? Okay.
All right. Send a representative up from each team to get your match schedule. They also should be published on VexVia. Corey? Oh, okay. For all the parents, mentors, coaches that couldn't make it today, we will be streaming all of the matches on Twitch. You can use two different links to get there. It's twitch.tv/azfirst, or you can use azfirst.watch.
Test. Test. Test.